Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your weekly NVIDIA report. That is right, for this week only. We're just doing one video for the week itself, broad brushstroke analysis. It is an abbreviated week, for all intents and purposes, about 2 trading days this week. So these are legitimate tradable levels. The same formations I've been showing on the daily chart. We have converted to weekly chart, so they are still valid tradable support and resistance levels I'll be showing you. We will be back next Sunday with next Mondays. We resume day-to-day daily NVIDIA report analysis in a week, just so you know. Now, if you want to get during this week a triple Q and SPY analysis, you can. We're doing those for the most part on a day-to-day basis, Mondays and Friday anyway. That will allow you to stay tuned into the broader indexes. I highly advise being a subscriber to wickedstocks.com anyway, and not just because it benefits me as the business owner, but because I do think knowing what the broader indexes are doing, especially the triple Q and the NASDAQ 100 indexes, that NVIDIA is such a primary component of it, that it could serve you well in terms of just sort of the rhythm and timing of these big moves. But I'm not going to go into that too much more. Let's jump into the charts. I'm going to move around here and just emphasize that on the weekly chart, we've got 125.27 and 128.62. This channel did contain last week's low. The inside channel did, if you recall, and it is still climbing gradually. 125.27 to 128.62 can absorb selling through January, and from here we can round up into the 160s, 170s in the coming weeks. I'm going to actually jump to, bear with me, I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm enlarging the slide so I can see what I'm talking about. And that is to say, of course, we've got 137.15. That is the low of the high. And I still like it as a resistance area because it is very close to, about 7 points away from 144.66. 144.66 is a formation that we've considered a 2 to 3 week target following last week's testing of the 125.27 to 128.62 area. If you've been watching the daily NVIDIA report last week, you know that this is true, that following the testing of this channel support, we are now anticipating within 2 to 3 weeks 144.66. And if we happen to push into the mid 140s to 144.66 this week, 2 to 3 week swing traders can take profit and consider playing the short side back into the mid to upper 120s within another 1 to 3 weeks, depending on volatility. We could fill this wedge out well into January trade, but the market will obviously eventually tip its hand in one direction or another as these sort of converge entirely over the next 3 to 5 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks or so. Closing above 144.66 is I don't want to call it the expected outcome, but this channel support in the mid to upper 120s is much more significant than this nearer term channel top at 144.66. So I've been mentioning how, having tested this channel support last week, that one may envision the mid 160s and climbing over the next month or two. And if we close above 144.66 this week on Friday, that does signal 165.02 and climbing as a 2 to 3 to 5 week target or so. Now, I also have been mentioning once again that merely having tested that 128.62 inside channel does maintain that 165.02 channel top is like a 1 to 2 month objective. That certainly gets accelerated with the settlement this week above 144.66. So that kind of covers the upside pretty well. 165.02 is, by the way, climbing weekly and will over the next, well, I don't know if they actually will ever converge, but there's 178.53. So you could call it just sort of a wide range of long-term resistance, that begins at that 165.02 level and ends at 178.53. So this area up here, significant longer-term resistance that, if tested in the coming months, 178.53 in particular, a one-year channel top, can contain buying on a quarterly basis. Let's cover the downside. We've got 125.27, and 1% below that is 124.02. So if we happen to close this week at or below 124.02, we do enter this could be 3 to 5 weeks or the better part of 2 months, a 101.72 target. So, contrary to, it's suggesting that you bottom pick 125.27, 128.62, in anticipation of 144.66 over the next 2 to 3 weeks and 165.02 over the next couple of months. Closing below the 125.27 formation does signal 101.72. Let's just call it a 1 to 2 month target. And you probably do want to honor that 1% violation threshold. Where are you? I cannot find you. There it is, 124.02. It's on a different chart. And you can see, what should you do during the week? What if we close below 125.27 on Monday? That is an actionable sell signal, but I would advise that 124.02 threshold even during the week. If it happens on Monday or Tuesday and we close at 124.02, that is worthy of at least exiting a long position if you happen to be long. But I do think you can play the short side. You just want to make sure that we settle Friday not only below 125.27, but also at or below that 124.02 1% threshold, which I'm having trouble finding again, but I've shown it enough, and there it is. That's the 1% threshold. I think that pretty much rounds it out. We will be back next Sunday with next Monday's NVIDIA. Really what I want to say is daily NVIDIA analysis resumes in a week. So we're just sort of giving you kind of a snapshot for the week. But once again, if you want to see triple Q and SPY analysis during the week, we're continuing to do that. And you can see those for free by going to wickedstocks.com and taking advantage of our 5-day free trial. We'll be back in a week. You have a great week, and we will talk soon.